Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Siti binti SUNARDI ALYAS and my matric number is S59917. I would like to provide you with a brief overview of the ASEAN-Korea Free Trade Agreement (AFTA) and its significance in promoting economic cooperation between the associations of Southeast Asian nations, ASEAN member countries, and South Korea. The AFTA aims to boosting trade and investment while strengthening economic cooperation. Its main objectives include the elimination of tariffs, promoting trade in services, encourage investments, and enhancing economic cooperation in various areas. The AFTA involves the ASEAN members countries, which is Brunei Darussalam, Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam. The economic cooperation began in 1980s through the ASEAN-South Korea dialogue relations. The AFTA was officially signed on August 24, 2006, following negotiations and ratifications by the participating nations. It became legally binding on June 1, 2007, marking the start of its implementations. While there may be adjustment costs for certain industry and concerns about trade divisions and unequal distributions of benefits, the AFTA brings several expected benefits. These include enhanced trade and market access, promotion of investments, economic growth and development, regional integrations, and improved competitive for businesses. In conclusion, the ASEAN-Korea Free Trade Agreements play a crucial role in facilitating economic cooperation between South Korea and the ASEAN members country. That's all for me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is HIDAYAT bin MELBIN and my metric number is S59063. So today I will explain about the international indicator that involved in this ASEAN-Korea Free Trade Agreement. So there are 5 indicators, the main indicators involved. So firstly is a gross domestic product, which is in the agreement, the Asian countries and the Republic of Korea have recorded a consistent increase in GDP in both phases, that is before and after the implementation of Akfta. Generally, this free trade will benefit the countries involved in terms of trade balance and the economic growth. So the second is foreign direct investments. Looking at the FDI for 11 countries involved in this agreement, most countries shows fluctuating curve before for the phase before and after implementation of the agreement. So we go through for the third indicators, that is real effective exchange rates. So the real effective exchange rate was obtained from the Bruegel database, which is show that half of the countries involved in the AFTA experience a volatility curve. So the nextly is the import of goods and services. The import rates for the before and after the empowerment of AFTA can be concluded that all the countries experience a consistent increase. So and the lastly is a current account balance. The data for the current account balance for 11 countries experience a stable fluctuations. So for example, Malaysia's current account balance was usually a deficit until the Asian financial crisis in 1997. This was mostly due to the country's reliance on foreign savings to fund insignificant domestic investment. Thank you. That's all from me.
Hi, my name is OMAR. My matrix number is 60467. Today I'll be covering the subtopic of trade barriers in AFTA, Asian-Korea Free Trade Agreement. First and foremost, I would like to tell the simplified definition of trade barriers. Trade barriers are usually the set of policies or instructions or even regulations to protect the local industry in the international trade. It comes with 2 forms, which is one is a tariff and another one is non-tariff barrier. Before AFTA, the tariff was so high, and then there are also different set of tariff for different set of product, which can be very complicated in terms of import and export. And then in terms of non-tariff barriers, there are a lot of restrict regulations and also complicated custom regulation and procedure, which can hinder in terms of investment and also import and export as well. And then after it has been signed, the Akfta, the tariff rate are lower than before, and then also there are also set of tariff rate that has been agreed in that can benefit for both Asian and Korea country as a nation. And then in terms of non-tariff barrier, the regulation has been smoothened out, and the custom procedure can be easier, and this can lead to an increase in investment in the future, and also can make it easier for the trade to happen between two countries in terms of import and export. That's all. Thank you.
Pattern between Korea and ASEAN. For agriculture, Korea export $54,000 million of agriculture product to ASEAN country from 2003 to 2005 before joining the Akfta. Korea exported 150,000 agriculture product to ASEAN country from 2006 to 2009. For manufacture, Korea output in 2003 was just around $177,000 million, and it only saw a slight increase in 2004 to 2005. That was around $27,000 million. After Korea joined Akfta in 2006, all ASEAN countries had an increase in production export that latest from 2006 to 2009. For fuel and mining products, Korea exported $76,000 million of fuels and mining goods to ASEAN countries prior to joining Akfta. Korea sold $165,000 million of mining and fuel product to ASEAN nations over a four-year period from 2006 to 2009.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is BINTI ZAINUDDIN. My matric number is S58041. So, I will explain about services trade patterns. Before the agreement, services trade between Asian and South Korea was relatively limited, mainly due to various trade barriers such as tariff, non-tariff barriers, and restrictions on foreign investment. After the agreement, trade in services between the two regions has increased significantly. The agreement reduced many of the barriers, allowing for greater access to each other's markets. This has led to an increase in the number of service providers in both regions and greater competition, which has resulted in improved quality and lower prices for consumers. For example, in financial services, before the agreement, it may have been limited by regulatory barriers and restrictions like ownership limitations, but after the agreement, it has opened up the financial services market in both regions, allowing financial institutions to provide a wider range of services to consumers. Last but not least, foreign telecommunications companies from Asian countries may have faced challenges in entering the Korean market and competing with established domestic providers due to licensing requirements. After the agreement, it has facilitated the cross-border supply of telecommunication services, leading to increased competition and improved quality of services. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is ATIQAH. My matric number is S58869. I will discuss the movement of international factors in the Akfta, include foreign direct investment and labor mobility. Foreign direct investment (FDI) is foreign investment entry ASEAN, but Akfta provide incentive for South Korea investors to enter the ASEAN market by facilitating capital movement. As a result, there has been an increase in direct investment from South Korea to ASEAN countries, such as land development, infrastructure, and other sector investment. This can provide economic boost for ASEAN countries by producing workplace, technology transfer, and increasing production. Second is labor mobility. Labor mobility is labor absorbing Akfta provide facilitating for labor mobility between ASEAN and South Korea. This means that ASEAN citizens have easier and access to work in South Korea and visit visa. This allows South Korean companies to recruit more from ASEAN countries, while ASEAN workers has the opportunity to find better jobs in South Korea. That's all from me. Thank you.
Salam and good morning, doctor. My name is Bin and metric number is S59030. Now I want to present the balance of payment if AFTA country. First, balance of payment is a statement of all transactions a country has with the rest of the world. It is including import, export of goods, services, personal transfer and personal remittance. For the first is current account balance, which is referring to the flow and fund when the international trade in the balance of payment like goods and services. In the AFTA country, Singapore and Malaysia has the largest current account balance, but the Cambodia and Vietnam has the deficit in current account balance. Next, trade is mean that exchange of goods and services between individual or country by country with the money. In the AFTA, the Singapore is have the most highest trade in percent of GDP, and the lowest is Myanmar, means that the Singapore is most openness trade and Myanmar is the least openness trades. For the next part is export and import. Export and import are trade among country, which is the product produced in country sell to the other country, and buy products produced by other country. In AFTA country, Korea has the largest amount in export and import, but Laos and Myanmar are the least amount is in export and import. But in the net in export, show that Singapore is the largest amount, although the Korea is the largest amount in export and import. On the contrary, Myanmar is the bottom of the export and import, but still have a positive value in net export, different with Cambodia and Laos have a deficit value. Next, personal transfer is all transfer in cash or in kind made by or received by resistant households to or from non-resistant households. Personal transfer highest is in Philippines and Indonesia, and Korea also is higher than other countries. Last, personal remittance. That mean of the part is compensation of employees like income earned by individual working abroad and transfer back to their country. In AFTA, Philippines also the highest. After is Korea and Vietnam, Thailand and Indonesia. The Malaysia is below of them, and the Laos is the lowest. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is MARISYA binti MUSTAFFA and my metric number is S58830. I would like to present about comparative advantage and river comparative advantage or RCA in AFTA country. If RCA value is larger than 1, it shows that a country have a comparative advantage for specific product. There are 5 products are selected in this coursework, which are raw material, mineral, metals, textile and clothing, and transportation. After the AFTA agreement, Brunei and Vietnam have a comparative advantage. It showed a decreased trend, while Indonesia showed a downward and upward trend for raw material. For mineral, Indonesia has a comparative advantage and it showed a downward and upward trend. Finally, for metal, transportation, textile and clothing, Korea have a comparative advantage in producing this product. It showed an increased trend, but for textile and clothing, it started to decrease in 2009 after the AFTA agreement. That's all from me. Thank you.
AFTA agreement has come up with many ways to receive their benefits, but it is difficult to determine which country exactly wins from the agreement because of different in trade patterns, the composition of economic growth, and the strength of industry from each country. There are several benefits from the ACTA agreement to the economic structure of South Korea. First, development in trade. Second, increased market access. Third, economic cooperation. Fourth, structure of investment flow. And last, encouraging competitiveness. There are also several benefits that can be obtained for Asian countries as a result of the AFTA agreement. First, the development of market access. Second, export diversification. Third, economic growth and job opportunities. Fourth, Korean investment. Fifth, technical assistance, service and capacity. And last, regional integration. Why AFTA was designed to support global economic growth and benefit the participating countries, some sectors and stakeholders may have encountered difficulties and suffer unfavorable effects. There are some losers for Asian countries, like increasing rivalry with South Korea, facing the trade imbalance and relying on the South Korean market. There are also losers for South Korea, like industry competitiveness with Asian countries and increasing the speed of competition among Asian countries.
My name is NORFATIN binti ABDULLAH. My matric number is S59874. In conclusion, the goal of ASEAN-Korean Free Trade or AFTA is to increase the trade and investment between the ASEAN countries. The renegotiation of AFTA aims to increase market liberalization and remove remaining trade barriers. The initial round of talk between ASEAN and South Korea concluded in November 2020 with discussion on tariff reduction, streamlined business procedure, and intellectual property safeguard. Additional negotiations are expected. AFTA has impacted various industries, but it also makes South Korea import more competitive, affecting farmers and manufacturers. To improve AFTA, SME can benefit from help program, skill development, and trade-related issues.